and even a couple of bans targeted at Bjergsen, because they even mentioned in their video that they have to go up against him, they have to shut him down somewhat, and by banning out a couple of his champions might be the key to that.
And there is the Twisted Fate ban we saw yesterday. Twisted Fate was a very successful champion, winning actually 100% of the games that we saw from Twisted Fate until we hit that final game. So obviously that's not going to play a role here in this one. Let's see what Copenhagen Wolves ban out second. And there is the Jarvan ban, which is interesting. The fact that Copenhagen Wolves ban out Svenskruen's go-to champion right now.
Well, they know Malunu can play Jarvan, so they kind of don't want to go up against it, but that leads me to think that if Svenskruen's going to jungle anyone, it will be Xin Zhao. That's his two most played junglers. So Dragonborns could take that away from him, force him to play something he's not comfortable with, but it's still a solid ban overall, and we have seen that, well, sorry, 2 bans so far. I wouldn't be surprised to see Zed banned out, actually, as a potential, at least for the Wolves side, because you can't let anyone Dragonborn side have it, but you also can't let Bjergsen have it on the Wolves side. But Lux is taken away, and obviously that will be one of Shushe's most played champions, and Bjergsen as well, so he's taken himself out of the game, but as long as he takes himself and Bjergsen, it's kind of okay, it bounces out.
So what's the final ban going to be here for the Copenhagen Wolves? Where will it be aimed? Draven and Jarvan, their first 2 bans up until this point, and taking a little bit of time for it, which tells me that usually there is the Z ban finally, which we were just talking about. But usually when you see the slower bans coming in, that means they're more reactionary.
Yeah, and because of that, I was going to say that they were looking to pick up Thresh, I thought, since Defeats just played a very solid one. But Dragonborns do take that away instead, so we're going to see Movert on him, and it's always one of those really aggressive supports that people haven't really caught on to on how to completely counter. We even saw in the Curse TSM game 2 days ago that there was an interesting play out of Xpecial where he would wind up his Q, flash into the other person, and would instantly grab them because it still actually goes off when you pop that flash. So we could see some amazing plays coming out of that, and not to mention the box that it gives you. It can really shut down a team that tries to dive you all in.
Yeah, we'll see then if Movert can bring a much-needed breath of fresh air into this game. So the next pick's coming in then. Shen obviously left open in terms of the bans, and Godbro gonna say thank you very much. I'll have that Shen and Varus, which right now is one of the most picked AD carries.
Yeah, he is, and we will see why here with the test, because he's always played phenomenal on him. It's one of those champions that you can have a really nice poke with that Q, with that E. And not to mention, as the game does progress, you run into that problem of teams stacking health, stacking armor, and with your passive off W, doing that % health damage, it can really kind of counter that. It looks like Malunu might potentially go for Nasus here. He's done a phenomenal job of adapting to the Season 3 junglers in LCS, I have to say. Because his kit, originally was mostly around a Mumu, which we did see the first couple of weeks, but he's really changed it around to Volibear, changed around to Nasus. And he's kind of really done, really adapted, which is the way he needs to do. And we see a Graves picked up for Hosan here. I want to be ballsy and say that could potentially not be on Hosan, because we haven't seen him on Graves too much, but most likely it will be him.
I would imagine so. If you're right about that one, that's an incredible call, Jason. But we'll see where that ends up going. In the end, right now, obviously, Copenhagen Wolves have their top lane. Obviously, we have seen Shen in the jungle, but honestly, right now, he's not seen as someone that we're seeing in the jungle. Varus, of course, will be locked into that AD carry role. Let's see what Copenhagen Wolves will add in towards that one. It looks like Zyra going to be a choice here for Deficio.
I think Xin Zhao as well as the next picked up champion. They want to leave Bjergsen, it seems like, as the last pick, so that way he can hard counter anything Dragonborns puts mid lane. So you always get that ability to run Kassadin, which is always a great last pickup on the purple side or the red side. And they do lock in that Xin, and the Zyra going to be a nice little counter to that Thresh combo, because your grass roots have a longer range, I believe, than the Q off of Thresh, so you can really hold him back. And not to mention Graves, you can really lock him down if you land a perfect route on them.
I would call you a bit of a prophet for calling that Xin Zhao pick. However, Svenskruen, he plays Jarvan and he plays Xin. Mostly. Yeah. That's what we've been seeing coming out of him. So he's going to be on a very comfortable champion, Jax. Now, Jax, we have seen a couple of times, but honestly, not been impressed.
I have not been. Yeah, none of us have been impressed, to be honest, over the past entirety of EU LCS. Even in Extreme Masters World Championships, we weren't that impressed with it. We saw even the Korean teams pick it up, didn't do too much. We even saw Gambit pick it up, didn't do really anything right there. But if they do lock that in, we'll see how well Yamato Cannon can use him in that top lane. And we have Vi available right now. If Shushe wants to run her mid lane, it's always a possibility, but 3 seconds left. I'm curious to see what they're actually going to go for.
A very much last minute pick here. Brand.
Okay.
Ari. Damn it.
I was looking at that, I was like, Brand, maybe a support Brand could be a possibility, but as you see right there, Kasten will be locked in as the last pick. That's a perfect opportunity to do it, and Bjergsen, we've seen him time and time again, how amazing he is on Kasten. I'm kind of hoping we're going to see that yet again.
Yeah, we saw, of course, when Bjergsen first came into the European LCS, picked up a quadra kill in his first week, was touching on the pentas a little bit, but then, of course, he did actually, in the end, make that first penta kill with Syndra, nonetheless, which, honestly, we've not really seen much of since then.
Yeah. I'm curious why, but, you know, maybe it's just one of those things Bjergsen was comfortable playing off the bat just to catch people off guard, and then kind of had to stray away from it because people learned how to play against it. But, you know, looking over the lines we have right now, so we have, for Dragonborn's side, we have the Jax, who naturally gets tanky just through the items you end up picking up, does a lot of damage, and it forces a lot of focus for that team to go against him. We have the Nasus to follow up to shut down the test with attack speed. You have Shushay, who it's going to be hard from early on. We'll see if he can do that yet again here.
So here we go then, in-game with Dragonborns taking on the Copenhagen Wolves in week 8 here of the European LCS. And of course, a win that both teams honestly need right now. Copenhagen Wolves are a lot more informed. That's a bit of an understatement maybe than the Dragonborns, who right now are 0 for 10. And they don't want to go 0 for 11 today, that's for sure.
You might even say that gives them an opportunity to do some crazy stuff, especially at level 1. Like, you know, why not? You kind of need to make the high-risk, high-reward plays here, but, you know, just seeing the Wolves are reacting to it. They're just playing passive, just guarding their own jungle, and they really want to secure the red and blue for Svenskeren. But you also do see, you know, with the test in the top lane, we're going to have the swap coming in for him.
Yeah, and talk us through that. I mean, level 1, it looks like we're not going to see too much anyway. But those lane swaps, I mean, Jax versus Varus and Zyra, that's a hard lane for a Jax.
It really will be. And he's always been one of those champions where he needs to get that farm to really become that late game force. But then again, if you take that tower early, which I don't expect the Wolves to do necessarily, if they go for it, they take the tower early, it gives Jax pretty much a free lane to farm up. He has a pretty decent time farming under the turret, so as long as he gets that pushed up to his own tower, he'll be fine because of that W, that auto attack reset. But then you have Shen in the bottom lane who can sustain quite well. It looks like he is going for that 9 health pot, 1 ward combo, which, you know, why not do that if you're going to be in a swap lane like that against an 80 carry and support? But he shouldn't really be able to be killed at all.
Yeah, don't imagine that they'll see a first blood without any interaction there from the jungler. We can see that both 80 carry and support from both teams are starting off with the golems. There is Bjergsen just helping out Godbro to take down the Wolves first of all, and Svenskeren starting with the Wraiths, as is Maluno.
You know, with the items we have picked up already on Movert, it looks like they actually wanted to go against the Tess and Deficio because he has that rejuvenation bead, so he needs extra regen against the plants that Deficio can use. So it looks like they might have been countered just a little bit here, and it's not the ideal situation for them to be in.
Well, we can see the Graves already in the lane doing the work. Yamato Cannon also in this top lane. He's like, well, they're not here. I'm going to take this opportunity to actually get some farm and have a bit of freedom.
Wow.
We say that Godbro's not going to have too much trouble in lane, and there he is going very, very low early on. And, well, the range exclusively there really from Graves, just pushing him out of the lane.
And even the early level 2, since it did take the double golems, he was able to hit that 2, use that quick draw, get in there and really push him out with that nice attack speed. But, you know, as a wave will be able to push up, he should be fun to turret. I mean, he still has 7 health pots left. That's a lot of health to pick up. There's nowhere it's currently at the bot lane, so Svenskeren comes in. They potentially could look at going for a gank, but if they do that, Godbro will miss out on so much CS that'll actually hurt him in the end.
Wonder if we're actually going to be seeing a 3-man gank appearing anywhere. We can see that Svenskeren actually coming down, or was coming down at least, towards this bottom lane maybe to back up Godbro, but in the end he decides to back away from that. And, you know, these whole 3-man ganks coming through the tri-bush on either side, they've become less and less common because they were almost too obvious at the time when we saw them.
Yeah, you see wards down to really spot that. You even have one in Yamato Cannon's top side. He has in that tri-bush to prevent any kind of gank coming in from Svenskeren. And the same, we have that ward at the bot lane for Godbro to really defend against that. Though a pink ward was put down by Movert, so they might be creating an opportunity. However, you know, Maluno, he's not really in a position to necessarily go for that gank just yet.
So let's have a look then at the early CS. The AD carries almost bang level. The mid lane is bang level. Jungle, not much of a difference. And the 1v2ers right now, the solo lanes, not having too much good for time as Bjergsen going very, very low here. The Ignite was put down by both players. Shushay in a similar position in terms of low HP, but they are going to both survive, at least for now.
I have to say, though, Bjergsen won that trade in the end because Shushay committed so much mana to harassing him down that Bjergsen still has over half his mana pool and has the health pots to really keep himself alive. So he's just trying to get that level 6 because when he does, he knows he can beat Shushay.
So he's got a big wave now coming onto that turret, which up until now wasn't doing such a great job of actually catching them, with Svenskeren coming down into his bottom lane to help out Godbro, try and force the Graves Thresh lane a little bit back. Again, he goes into the bush right in full view of minions, and while he's not the sneakiest person in the world, as we are going to see that Bjergsen again putting down a little bit more damage onto Shushe, who's honestly at this point critically low.
Yeah, he's sticking around maybe a little bit too long, but that kind of gives a sign that Maluno will be coming around to help him out. As he does, he will be holding that turret for him as he does go back. But that's a great job by Bjergsen, because Castanet is so hard to lane early on, since you can be harassed by auto attack range, that once he hits that level 6, he's just going to take off because he's equal in farm.
So there is Maluno just getting straight in on towards Bjergsen. Did take the sphere, which did do quite a lot of damage considering that he's only level 5 right now. But interested to see how Bjergsen's going to play this one. Once he hits level 6, obviously gets that extra mobility from the Void Walk. Can we expect him to get involved so much in these other lanes?
Oh yeah, that's his style. That's like right up his alley. If he's not split pushing, he's going to be in those other lanes helping out. And even when you're casting, it makes it so easy to do that. The top lane, if you could grasp and root Jax when his ward's going to be up very soon, because you know he put it down early on since he doesn't have it on him currently, that you can easily go for that gank, and that will be a pretty much guaranteed kill.
Yeah, and Jax right now is only level 3, by the way. 11 CS, and we kind of expected that that's how it was going to go for Jax. Not going to have a good lane 1 versus 2. Gone for that Doran shield early on with the elixir and pots from a little bit earlier on. So Yamato Cannon not having the best time of things right now, but we know that if Jax later on gets a farm, he can be a strong force. The question is whether he'll get to that point.
That's why I like what the Wolves are doing. I mentioned in the beginning, if they're going to push that turret down, they're going to give Yamato Cannon that opportunity to go for that. But they're not pushing it down just yet. They're just trying to freeze the lane as much as possible, keep him out of that CS range, and really kind of get a nice lead over him. Because, you know, looking to his counterpart, he's losing 19 to 11 CS.
So let's have a look at the early items here. Doran's ring, boots, and pots for Ahri compared to that tier for Cassidy. As he actually goes in here, this is level 6 now, so he has got that Rift Walk in there, which I called the Void Walk earlier on, which obviously makes no sense because that's not what it's called.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, I know, but still.
but you know, in terms of items, like, but this is a really crucial point because you have the tier. Oh, we do see actually can't come into the bot lane. In fact, it doesn't happen. But you have the tier, so you have Bjergsen trying to go for that sustain, trying to go for a great harass over time, and then you have the Doran's ring, so it gives him a little bit extra health. He's trying to survive the burst, but as you saw right there, no amount of health pots is going to keep him alive against Bjergsen, doing that over and over and over again, and not to mention 30 seconds away from him getting his own blue.
And look at this there, in that top lane, the tower very, very low. Yamato Can not able to do anything to defend really against that one. Himself going fairly low from the Tessa's pressure. And if we look at the CS actually between the AD carry support, it's actually quite even there, as we do see the flash coming out. They actually turn around, going towards Move It. He's going to flash, knock them away there. And that will beat Copenhagen Wolves, not quite getting in for that first blood, but flashing away from the taunt. Important thing to do, because I think if that taunt would have landed, that could have been the death. Important,
but it also leaves you open to another gank. We had Bjergsen sniffing around. He was coming through the jungle to go down there, but that just gives him a sign. Hey, I can gank top right now, turrets low. Hey, I can gank bottom. There's no flashes up for either of them. He is going to have a field day when he finally gets around to go for this gank.
And Shushe actually heading himself back home. He's level 6, Bjergsen at level 7, as we are going to see the taunt land here on towards Mover, and there's not really much that he can do about that one. Godbro taking turret hits there, actually decides to flash in the end just as he gets out of range, and that will be the first kill of the game, going over to Copenhagen Wolves. They could take this top tower here as well. Yeah, and that was a great job knowing their limits on that gank. I mean, yeah, Godbro kind of flash out in the end. He wasn't expecting to be taking the aggro, but still, I mean, they're pushing their skills to the limit at this point. You see Svenskeren actually being forced to flash over that wall. It was a good use, not want to give a kill over to Hosan right there. We know how deadly Hosan can be when he starts to get a couple of kills, but Bjergsen is backing away now. He's picking up a Ruby Crystal, and we still see the Wolves. They haven't taken the turret just yet because they still want to deny as much CS as possible away from Yamato Cannon. Yeah, he is falling considerably behind if you compare him over to Shen. Also in that 1v2 lane, as we see an invade here from Dragonborns going in towards that blue buff, with Svenskeren though still hanging around. It's a smart play on their part. They want to take that blue away from Bjergsen because they know how crucial it's going to be for him. We do see it taken, as we do see Bjergsen going in on a Shushe here. Not going to be able to chase him down. Oh, actually, it looks like he might be able to with that Ignite used. I was going to say, it didn't look like he was going to chase him down, but Bjergsen's like, well, why not? I can probably go for this one. Juche actually was forced to pop the first charge of his ultimate, which, you know, he didn't even really use the second and third charge of that one. So that's a good force from Bjergsen in the end to make Juche use that ultimate to get away.
And it's a key point that Dragonborns took that away. I mentioned, you know, trying to deny the blue from Bjergsen so he can't get the snowball going on, but they need to take their own blue now. If they don't take it anytime soon, the Wolves are going to collapse for it because they know how much they're going to need it here. And so we do see Meluna, he's going to be heading his way up there on that mini-map. And we have Shen returning to, or not returning, going to the top lane for the first time against Yamada Cannon, but it's a level 7 Shen with a Giant Spell versus a level 6 Jax with just a Doran shield at this point, and Godbro's going to win these trades any day. Yeah,
you can see that Yamato kind of knows that, as well as the blue buff is going to go over to Juche. So you were just talking about how important it's going to be to secure that one, because Svenskeren would have come around to try and take that one away. As it is, though, Dragonborns having both blue buffs in their team right now, one with Meluna, one with Juche there on Ari, as we see now finally things returning to somewhat normality in this bottom lane, where the AD carries and supports going head-to-head.
Yeah, because of the early turret that Copenhagen Wolves got, because of the easy amount of farm that the test could pick up, he's just out-damaging Graves at this point. He has a BF sword, which, you know, they're both equal on, but he has a Vamp Scepter on top of that, so that sustain is going to be very crucial for him to really harass Hosan down.
And again, they're pushing that through with that extra damage that they've got. We've just seen Bjergsen actually starting to come down. The charm will land there, I think, just as he hit the Rift Wall. That was a bit of a strange situation, both skills being used at the same time. As Juche again gonna take the damage. That's the danger about casting. It's something that we don't really talk about too much, as we do see the charm land. We talk about the Rift Walk and its mobility, and that's how, you know, that's the whole thing about casting. We don't really talk too much about the silence that he has, which, you know, against a bursty AP is actually really, really important.
And it makes it easier for you to lock down Ari. If you land the silence onto him, Diffusio can follow up with the Grasping Roots. You could have Godbro land a nice taunt. Like, it gives that ability to lock her down, and that's what Ari thrives on, is that mobility to get around, to dodge all your skill shots in the middle of a team fight. And they should be able to shut that down if they play their cards right.
As Yamato kind of actually going in on towards Godbro, which, you know, Shen is just not scared of anything at this point. Got a Giant Spell in there with the boots, and still a couple of pots, which I'm not sure if he bought pots up before. Obviously, he did start with the Ward 9 pots. He's still got a couple in there. I don't know if he actually bought them again coming back in towards the lane, but he had a fairly easy time, apart from that level 1 where Hosan actually quick drew in towards him. Just making the skills up as we go along. Quick drawed, I've been told.
Quick sketched.
See what he did there. Quick drawed, which actually is definitely quick drew, by the way. He quick drew.
So he eat into him.
He eat into him. And then he did a lot of damage, which forced him to burn through a couple of those. So I think that he bought them afterwards. Not that it's really that big of a talking point at this stage. One thing that is a big talking point is we are going to see a lot of damage coming in here. Juche coming down. There's a Stranglethorn's going to knock Juche in the air. And Copenhagen Wolves will be safe from that one. But what was burnt? A flash from the test, a flash from Diffusio, plus that ultimate coming out of Diffusio as well.
Oh, more importantly, they didn't die in that in the end. That's the main goal. And we saw Diffusio channel his inner Babetta right there, landing a perfect ultimate on those 2 members of Dragonborns. And, you know, something that we didn't talk about too much earlier is that since Bjergsen didn't get blue, we saw Svenskeren kind of sticking around mid quite a bit, trying to go for that gank on a Juche to give him that blue. And because of that, like, because Dragonborns took the blue, not only did they deny it away from Bjergsen, but they gave their bot lane and top lane the opportunity to kind of free farm. And I say that in quotations because obviously they're going to have a hard time against the other team, but they're not going to be too worried. As we do see Mudo kind of getting caught here, but he should be able to escape, I want to say.
Well, Juche actually coming from the side, lands a nice charm through the wall there on towards Svenskeren. And look at Godbro, he's not scared, going right underneath the turret there in towards Yamato Cannon. That whole talk that I did earlier on about Godbro and, you know, his health pots, which didn't really mean anything. But the point I was trying to get to eventually was the fact that the CS is almost double as much at this point for Godbro.
Oh, Bjergsen's trying to go for a kill here. He might be able to pick it up. He Riftbox one more time. But instead, I guess he just pushes Juche out. So in the end, he still wins from that. He might be get a little bit of damage on this mid turret. And we see the top and actually a fight breaking out. Yamato Cannon getting very low.
Oh, there's a great taunt landing from Godbro. There's the ultimate from Svenskeren. I thought he actually just saved him there for a second, but actually managing to land in there. Meluna actually getting the wither down on towards Godbro, but not sure this is exactly what Meluna wants. And in the end, just decide to back away. There is movement down in the bottom lane, and the test just destroys him.
And yeah, use the ultimate, perfect timing on that. That's the damage of Varus. That's why you see him banned out so often. Bjergsen, he's trying to go in for a kill on Hosan, and he should be able to pick it up here.
Yeah, Hosan trying to get away, slowed there. Actually flashes just about away from the grasping roots. Bjergsen, though, doesn't care about that. He's going to go in. There's the barrier used. Bjergsen tanking up the turret and will go down. Varus did get the kill, though, onto Graves.
That's what Hosan's so damn good at doing, is he gets people under the turret. Even though he'll die, he'll still pick up 1 or maybe 2 kills. So he picked up 1 there. It gets him a little bit ahead. Well, not a little bit ahead. He's still a bit behind, but it helps get a couple of items that he's going to need, because with the way all the other lanes are going at this point, with Shushay behind in CS, you have Bjergsen who has an assist under his belt. They're going to need his damage. Even when Yamada Cannon, who has 48 CS at this point, is not a threat at all.
Here we see Shushay landing the charm, plus the Q over on towards Godbro, but you saw exactly how much damage it did, which was almost 0 at this point. He's got double Doran's ring in there. Obviously had a bit of a hard time against Bjergsen in that lane. The health was pretty much needed from Shushay, to be honest. He could have died. And
the thing is, he's sitting on 400 gold right now. You would imagine with those items to be like, oh yeah, he could pick up like a nice large rod when he goes back, but he went straight for those home guard boots. He knows how quick he needs to get back to lane, because Bjergsen was harassing him so well. He's pushing him out of lane consistently that would benefit him way more than picking up an item, but he needs to make that worth it. He needs to be getting a lot of farm because of it and really kind of get some items that he's going to need for the damage. Just like you mentioned, against Godbro, it did pretty much none to him.
Yeah, and we see there how important that blue buff is to Copenhagen Wolves. There were 3 men there. The test came down. Svenskeren was there just to make sure that Dragonborns, upon it spawning this time around, weren't going to get too involved in it. There is a blue buff being taken away by Dragonborns as well, and that's going to go over to Shushay.
And Wolves did have a timer on it. We saw Svenskeren come around and spot it, but it looks like they don't want to try to commit to it. Don't want to get in a bad position, because they're up 4-1 at this point. It's 21.7 thousand gold to 18.4. No dragons being taken just yet, but they have a nice, comfortable lead, and they want to keep that.
Yeah, and honestly, Dragonborns again, it's not looking super for them, as we see Bjergsen there just walking away. It was actually stood on top of a ward. Actually, there's a lot of men coming in. There is a Wither going down, but Riftwalk, it's just an amazing spell to have at this point. And we can see there, Bjergsen, how ballsy he is in that situation. There's 4 of them there, and he comes in and does some damage onto Shushay before he actually leaves.
That's what he's so good at, though, knowing his limits. Like, just like Frogger, just like Alex, just like Ocelot, expect any really amazing AP mid player, he knows his perfect limits and is able to kind of bounce around them. And, you know, I'm kind of looking at this as the fight progresses, as you saw, because you pointed out that he could not be locked down. The only person who could potentially do that is Shushay landing a charm or Movert landing a Q. Like, you know, Bjergsen won't be locked down by a counter-strike by Jax, so it's up to them to land some sort of skill shot to kind of hold him there. If they don't, he's just going to run around and just see the Grace ulti going in, but it's not enough. And Bjergsen, he's got some blood in his eyes as he even wanted to chase him.
Actually, they are going to be going down towards Graves here in this bottom lane. There's no vision, and we are going to see Bjergsen going. Actually, the Varus ultimate completely missing there, and there is the Lantern, but Copenhagen Wolves don't care. They're going to flash in here, and it's the Test that picks up the kill. He's now on a killing spree at 3-0-0.
He was our highlighted player. We talked about how with the pressure off his shoulders, he can really step it up, and you're seeing in this game he's doing that perfectly. Great job shutting Jax down top lane, and now bot lane picking up 2 consecutive kills, 2 on a mover and 1 on a host right there. He's really growing as a player, I have to say.
And Svenskeren just covering the middle lane as well, but all in the name of taking in a turret down in this bottom lane. The Test, Officio, and Bjergsen all down there, and that will be 3-0 in turrets, but maybe not for too long. Svenskeren actually going in. Here comes Shen as well. Is he going to land the taunt here on towards Maluno? Yes, he is. No help from the tower on that one. And you can see Shushay off to the side. No one cares about Shushay right now. They go in, take down the big tanky dog, and now Shushay going to be the one that's all under pressure. Bjergsen takes him out as well. And what a fight for Copenhagen Wolves. You saw there, Jason, how Shushay's at the side. They just didn't care about him because he's got no damage.
And also on top of that, you mentioned the silence coming out of Kassadin. You saw right there, he had 1 more charge as ultimate to get away, but with that silence, it locked him down. They were able to pick up that kill, and now they might be able to pick up 2 turrets off of that.
Yeah, amazing play again from the Copenhagen Wolves. We kind of expected this from them as well. I feel like I'm boring myself with how much I've talked about it, but Copenhagen Wolves earlier on in the tournament, they were never a bad team, even though they were 0 for 9. If you compare that with Dragonborns right now and their 0 for 10 run, in these bad times, Copenhagen Wolves have looked still the better team throughout it.
And the thing is, like, with the way LCS is gone, like with people being able to, get a gaming house, with being able to get into a 5-man team, not have to worry about a job or not necessarily school, they were able to pretty much step up their game in general. I think if you compare them now to before LCS, with, back in DreamHack, they are leaps and bounds beyond better than, or better now than that.
Oh, Yamato Cannon here getting caught out on the turret itself, and we are going to see Deficio coming in, throws down the grasping roots. Nice prediction, actually, but in the end, we see Yamato Cannon having to flash away from that one, and even we see Cassidy going a little bit deeper on that one. Wise not to chase. Maluno was hanging around there.
And Joe, we're seeing the Wolves do something very smart right now. We talked about, taking an early turret against Jax, you leave them open to farm, but what they've done is they took that turret, they took bottom turret, they took mid turret. They're being so aggressive, they're forcing Yamato Cannon to be there to fight, and because of that, he's still down about 50 CS at this point to his counterpart Shen, so they're keeping him out of this game right now, and they're doing a perfect job of doing it.
Absolute massive damage coming here on towards Shushe, who's going to use his ultimate to try and get away, but honestly, that's a Kassadin that's chasing him down right now. Hosan going to be waiting here. Let's see what Bjergsen can do. And as he comes in there, not really too worried. The charm is going to land though from Shushe, but again, we're talking about Cassidy here, hardly any damage as a Varus ultimate comes in. They are going to go for this one completely. Svenskeren coming in. There's a knockup from Deficio. It lands onto Movert. That may well be another kill. Flash was used. Bjergsen comes in, but they are absolutely decimating the Dragon Balls right now. Bjergsen still manages to survive. There's a double kill, and in the end, an ace for the Copenhagen Wolves.
I really hope the analysis desk looks at that fight in particular, because we saw Bjergsen, his perfect positioning. He went over the wall, but he went in position away from Jax, so Jax had to jump the other way, and it kept him able to just do as much damage as possible. Wolves taking a 5-0 right there, and Godbro didn't even have his ultimate up, but they're still going for a push on that bottom turret. They're going for a 4-man push on the mid turret, and they're going to pick up, they should pick up 2 more turrets here, and that's at least a 10,000 gold lead.
Yeah, the inner turret going down in that middle lane. Look at the score, 12-1, 10,000 gold is the difference. Let's have a look here at the individual gold. I have to say, and we were right to call out the test here and say that he's got less pressure on his shoulders now than we had earlier on. He's now 5-0-4, got 20 CS ahead, and that's 8.6k to 6.4 thousand gold. Like, he's massively in the lead right now.
And that was all due to the picks and bans. Like, they gave him his comfort champion. It used to be Ezreal, but now it's switched over to Varus, and we've seen him do it time and time again, where he would just not die in these games. Even Syndra, or Bjergsen's pentakill, his first pentakill, we saw the test die once at the very end of that game. You just can't give comfort champions like that.
Let's talk a little bit about the items here. Shen, 50 CS ahead of Jax. We used to see Jax build Trinity Force, get a Guardian Angel, and you're all good, basically.
Right.
Right now he's building up towards that Blade of the Ruin King. Yamato kind of not really had a good time of things. 0-2-0, 50 CS, as I said, behind right now. But how much of an impact can Jax really have on this game at this point?
It all depends on how late the game goes. We'll get back to this. I guess Bjergsen kind of getting caught right there, but you still see how mobile he is. Shen going to be coming in with his ultimate. Yeah,
Shen going to come down to this one. Let's see if they can save him. No, they can't. It's going to be Shushe that gets the kill. There is a dash away from Godbro as well into Dragon Pit. Didn't want to get involved with that one. Actually, less than a minute until this dragon comes up as well. So we'll see how that one goes. Actually, Frozen Mallet picked up there by Shen. Obviously, wants to keep everyone under control as he goes. But not really a build that we see that often, to be honest with Shen.
I like the item, though, because it gives him that ability to chase. Like, you have Cassidy, who has a built-in slow with his Force Pulse when he gets in range and has stacks up. So you have him to slow, you have Diffuse to land, and I mean, you cannot miss a Grasping Roots on a Frozen Malted person. And then you have, Sven's going to come in and slow with his Audacious Charge. So they have a great chase team right now, and that's all they really need when they're up this far. You pointed out Yamato Cannon's items on Jax, and I don't think anyone has figured out a good build on him now in Season 3. And that may be due to the fact that he just doesn't have a good one, period. But, I'm not really fond of that pick. We do see the Test getting caught, and he might go down.
Yeah, he's going to be in trouble here. The box goes down. The Test actually sticking right in there, but he is shut down there by Shushe. We did see Maluno going quite low. The charm lands onto Svenskeren, and he will flash away, but can he actually escape this one? Bjergsen coming in from the side, and, well, he actually did manage to take down Nasus in all of that. You have to give credit to Svenskeren for that. That was a 4 versus 1.
Yeah, that was a missed position, though, out of the Wolves. That's the second time that's happened.
Yeah.
We saw Bjergsen get picked up like that. Now the Test lost his killing streak. They gave over 500 gold to Shushe, which is not the person you want to give it to when he was already down in gold, already behind in items. It's going to get him that much closer. As you see, the Nisi Large picked up. See the Giant's Belt picked up on Movert, so you know he wants to be in the middle of the fight. He wants to be the focus because it allows the rest of his team to do that damage. And then you have even a Blasting Wand picked up on top of that with Shushe, so he will be going for that death cap relatively soon. And then the Blade of the Rune King is done for Yamato Cannon. So one thing that's nice about that item is it's going to give him the lifesteal, it's going to give him attack speed, and then it also gives him his active, which slows someone down and speeds you up. And we know how much movement speed is needed for a Jax. Like, you need to be able to stick to a target, and without the Trinity Force slow from the phage, he won't have it. But the Blade of the Rune King does fill that position.
It's currently 0-2-1. Obviously, getting in there for the assist on that last kill on Svenskeren. But if we look down the kills and how they're distributed actually on the Copenhagen Wolves side, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a kill even on Deficio there, just to give him that extra bit. We can see that Deficio, if you call him out, 5.6 thousand gold. That's more than Jax, that's more than Nasus, that's a lot more than the Thresh right now. There's only a couple of people on the other side, on the Dragonborn side, that have actually got more gold than Deficio.
And the thing is, the test has been giving him a little bit of CS on top of that, because he's sitting at 32 compared to the 8, so he's able to pick up the items. Like, he will be able to pick up Zlaka of the Iron Solari relatively soon if he does decide to go for that, or his Shuralius, which is always a possibility. But, you know, that Ruby Sightstone, giving that extra vision in lane, protecting yourself so you won't get ganked, it really snowballs. If you ever get that support, just 1 or 2, you know, kills or 1 or 2 CS, you know, it's an earlier GP10, more wards and more protection.
So the plant being put down, obviously to tank up that turret if they need it, but as the minions come in, you see how fast that goes down. The taunt is going to land here on towards Maluno. They're going to focus in on towards the jungler there. The Test picks up the kill. He gets himself another one to add to that already impressive tally. There was Bjergsen going in. Godbro lands another taunt. He is very, very deep right now. Varus ultimate going to land. There is a Stranglethorn's going to land, but Copenhagen Wolves back away. Yamato Cannon takes down Godbro.
Wow, that grasping roots that came out of Deficio was so perfect. You saw Yamato Cannon walking in, and he just got locked down with that, then knocked up. We see them turn around, going into Hosad, and he will get blown up. Yeah,
blown up is definitely the word for that one. The hook just skimming by the Tess, who life steals his way back up to full health. Says, well, you got me a little bit low there, but not for very long. Bloodthirster fully stacked in that one as well.
They even gave him a little tombstone, if you notice. They put a word on top of his body. A little nice thing out of Dragonborn's side, but, you know, he can't afford to be out of position like that. He's 1-4-2. 224 CS to 221. He's already leaps amounts behind the test, and he and Ari are the only ones, like you said before, that have more gold than Deficio. So he needs to stay alive, and we've seen him do something like that where he can be out of position. Usually he's able to make a play off of it, but right there you saw, didn't work out.
Didn't work out. And blue buff here going to be going over towards Shushe, who has got now DFG. Talk us through the whole DFG build here, coming in for Ari. I mean, at this stage, obviously that DFG, you know, you've got that initial burst, plus the fact that the damage is then amplified. But what damage is amplified?
It's magic damage, but I'm not a big fan of that item picked up, because you see these double AP comps is where it really comes into effect, because you use it, it does the, you know, percent damage of max health, but it applies that 20% buff or amplifier to any magic damage taken. So if you're on that double AP comp, you can blow someone up, even if it's a tank that gets in your face. But it seems like almost a desperation item. But then again, he was so close to having his death cap, and yet he didn't go for that item. So we'll see how it works out for him. I mean, the cooldown reduction off it is going to help out quite a bit for his ult and his abilities, since he's going to need them during the fights. But to me, it's just personally not a great item to pick up.
And the funny thing is, you know, we talked about Bjergsen being involved a lot, and he's got the 9 assists to show for that one, but he's actually behind on kills right now when you compare him to Shushe. Both got a couple of deaths, but 3 kills to the 2 of Bjergsen there. As Godbro, he's, well, doing a shed, I think we can call it by now. Pushing straight down this bottom lane, going to be trying to split push that one off. We see Bjergsen coming around through the jungle, just trying to close off here the Dragonborns as they come in, and Godbro not going to want to get caught out, but that turret is not there, don't forget.
And look what's happening right now. We see 3 members of Wolves going for Baron. Bjergsen went down to help Shen, just to help him escape with his silence and with his slow, and they should be able to pick up that Baron quite easily, but then we see Dragonborns in hot pursuit. They're rushing towards that Baron. They have to stop it here, and the Wolves already have it down to under half-life.
Yeah, already down very, very low here, but will they be able to finish it off? Maluno puts in Wither on towards the Tessu. And isn't going to be able to get away that easy, but here comes Shen. We see everything going down here on towards Dragonborn, but can they get the kills? Bjergsen going to get the first one here on towards Jax. That's a lot of damage taken out of this fight already, as Hosan gets knocked up through the wall, even though he'd flashed away. Not going to save him from this one. Thresh did get 1 kill there in it all. And that was onto the test. A valuable kill nonetheless, but we are going to see Copenhagen Wolves turn back around. The Baron did reset itself, but they're going to take it.
That was still a beautiful play out of Wolves right there, because Bjergsen and because Godbro were down at that bottom lane. You saw Shushe there trying to defend. And then you have Bjergsen with that Rift Walk. He's able to get to that Baron very quickly. You had the Shen ultimate to get there as well. And Shushe was left there, and it was a 5-on-4 in the end. Wolves come out with those 4 kills for 1 death, and the Baron buff on top of that. They could easily go for that push on the bottom inhibitor, or even let Godbro do that, where they push the top lane and really split up Dragonborns. But Wolves looking very solid right now to take this game. Yeah,
19-6. They've got a big kill lead from this one. 48,000 to 36,000. 12k gold lead. 12.7 if we're being accurate. It's just a massive amount of gold for Copenhagen Wolves. They've got all the kills nicely distributed. 2-1-12 on Shen, 4-1-12 on Svenskeren. Like, they've been involved so often with all these kills, which you can understand with the Shen anyway, because of Stan United. You get it there, you say thank you very much for that assist. But on the other side, Svenskeren, he's been so impressive. Yesterday, obviously, we did give the MVP over to Bjergsen from his play, but honestly, Svenskeren was a highly contested one. We saw him finishing off a few kills with the flag, with his Jarvan, which is, I think, almost why we didn't give it to him. Yeah, he came in a little bit late there, threw the flag and got the kills. Thank you very much. But he has been so impressive. We talk about Bjergsen, how he's a star player. Bjergsen here is going to be getting caught out. The Wither does go down, gets a slow onto everyone. Maluno just backs away from him. They are scared of this one. But again, my point, we talk about how good Bjergsen is and how he's changed his team. Honestly, Svenskeren is another one who has stepped things up brilliantly. Godbro as well. I mean, he didn't really do much at all in the first half of this first half of the season, but he's a different player right now.
Yeah, it all comes down to comfort champions as well. He's playing a Shen he's comfortable on. Svenskeren on Xin, Bjergsen on Kasten, the Tess on Varus. Deficio on Zyra is the only if you want at this point, but you gave them those 4 comfort champions. Like, you can't expect to win.
If he means 3-0-10, then yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, Svenskeren, he stepped up for his team quite a bit. Bjergsen, I mean, he didn't even need to step up. He was already there. But the Tess has come back and sees Bjergsen getting caught.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming down there. We see the Stranglethorns coming in there. Yamato Cannon actually wasn't really the focus. They decided to back away from that one. Bjergsen again getting caught out, but it's all in the name of Godbro, who's pushing again down towards this inhibitor, which at some point he's going to take away.
And right there, we saw it might have been too much of a focus for him because he let Bjergsen die in the end from that. If he was top lane with them and they pushed up, they might have been able to save him, might have been able to pick up a couple of kills and that turret inhibitor, but that's a lot of time and a lot of focus to give to that without picking up any objective there.
Now we see Godbro starting off the Dragon. He's got a ward cleverly placed there at the back of that Dragon Pit. Sees that Hosan is coming in, and if anyone's ballsy enough to just go in for that one, it would be Hosan. We see there Mover. He's like, I need some health, guys, but I'm not sure I'm going to finish off a Warmonks or anything similar, so I'm just going to buy a second Giant's Belt.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he wants to be in the middle of the fight. Like, he wants to be the one taking the damage. He wants to keep Hosan and Shushe alive. So that's an easy way to do that. Plus, with his passive, he already has 116 armor at this point. He's a very tanky person against the other side of the team, but he's doing his job as support. It's kind of unfortunate he can't pick up any items. They could really use a Locket of the Iron Solari to mitigate some of this AoE damage and burst damage they're putting down, but I mean, we'll see how well it works, because he stayed alive quite a bit in these fights, but then again, Wolves are kind of ignoring him. They're like, you know what? Yeah, he's building health, but he's just support. Let's just go for their damage. They only have 2 people that can really do anything at this point.
Talk us a little bit through the items, Jason, here. I'll start off with a prime example between the AD carries Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, and the Home Guard Berserkers for Graves. Compare that over to Blade of the Ruin King, Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, Warmogs in for Varus.
Well, you look at the items right now. So we have 2 completed items for Hosan, like you were mentioning, but we only have 1 completed item for every other member of the team, and not even 1. Actually, wait, I guess the Felis now has. We'll get back to the second. As you do see a potential engage here. They're trying to go for this inhibitor.
Godbro goes straight in there. He's hardly lost any health from that one. It's a Varus ultimate not quite landing on its target. Stranglethorns going. They've managed to take down Maluno, who he's the tankiest one in the team. They're not caring about this whole focus. Go for the squishies. What are you talking about? Take out the tank, first of all, as the inhibitor is going to be focused on here as the test does get hooked. Shushe unloads everything onto him, but he's got a Warmogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's tanky.
Dragonborns are trying to chase them away. They will be able to, but they still lost inhibitor in the end. But, going back to... Oh, never mind. Wolves are sitting right on the side.
Oh, they're going to bait Shushe into this one completely. There's the ultimate coming out of Svenskeren as well. Graves' ultimate thrown into the mix as well, but you're not going to see Yamato going down. It's a double kill coming out there, and now they're chasing him to try and finish off the entire team. There is the ace coming out of Copenhagen Wolves. 24-7. This is not a close game, Jason.
Not at all. And with these respawn timers, they should be able to finish up this game. GG's already being called out for Dragonborns. And then we talked about the highlighted players for Dragonborn side. For Shushay, wasn't able to really step up, become like the person he needs to really do the damage for his team. Yamada can as well. And the 154 CS to the 254 for Godbro. That's not what you need as a Jax. And Wolves, they just systematically took that game. That was spot on perfect.
Yeah, spot on. You see there what it means as well. Deficio, very, very happy about that one. Bjorkson was like, well, job done, you know. Standard day at the office for the Wolves. But a really, really good performance. But we have to focus, honestly, on the other side, sadly, on the negatives of this, because Dragonborns are now 0 for 11. That is a record which we've not seen up until now in the EU LCS. Of course, the biggest record that we had before that was the Copenhagen Wolves. They were 0 for 9 at the start of the season, but Dragonborns far surpassing that one. And, you know, they quite frankly need more wins at this point. They need any wins. I talk about more wins, but just any wins at this point. You can see that the mood is still pretty light there in the Dragonborns camp, but they need to turn that into victories.
Yep, they will. And you know what? Speaking of victories for Dragonborns, hopefully the analysis desk can kind of give us an insight to there what Dragonborns has to do to start picking up some games.
Well, we are going to go over to the analysis desk right now. It's Freak and Quickshot, and it is, I can tell you, the hairiest analysis desk we've had all season, with the return of a good old friend.
Welcome to the analyst desk. Our good old friend is here.
Thank you, Freak.
Hello.
I'm happy to be here. This was not creepy in the least.
Not at all,
No.
Xenon.
Yes.
Not at all creepy. Hello. So, excellent game by the
Copenhagen Wolves.
Copenhagen Wolves overall. I think they played better. Nice attempt, of course, by the Dragonborns, but man, that game was, I guess, pretty harsh.